Live from the Export Beer Garden studios, this is the Agenda podcast for the 6th of April.
The Agenda, an alternative commentary collective podcast.
G'day and welcome along to the Agenda with myself, G Lane, Manaia Stewart and James McOnie. Good to see you, James.
How's it going, lads? You all right?
Good, we've got breaking news.
What's that?
Steady the ship, officially out of the World Cup.
Wow. That's
Which World Cup?
The
Sorry.
Cricket World Cup in October, November. The 50 over Cricket World Cup is going to be in India.
Oh, the big dog, yes.
The big dog, yeah. So I don't think it's overly surprising.
No.
Everyone saw him get lundied off the field. Did you see him get lundied off? And we've talked about this. Yeah. Why don't they have stretchers in cricket? Everyone just gets lundied off with two people either side.
Yeah, it's a knee. It's a bung knee, basically.
Yep.
So going under the knife. He's at least it wasn't a Quintupai situation where Dirty Swine, Darcy Swain came in from at the back of the ruck.
Dirty.
He can't blame anyone for that one, can he?
No, he's got himself to blame, but unlucky. Just fell on it awkwardly trying to prevent 6 runs. So that's gutting for the Black Caps and for us, really.
Is that us done? Is that us done for the World Cup?
Yeah, look, he's pretty...
Far from it, Manaia.
He's pretty pivotal, though. You've got to admit.
We whip the bails off, just tell Sri Lanka they can go instead of us.
Just the 2 fingers on the bails and you reckon?
Just walk on.
It's all yours. Look, I reckon no steady is... it is a cat amongst the Kedadu, but the best thing is that you can say, right, we've got captain or Glenn Phillips at because he seems to me to be the crucial part of our one-day team at the moment. And then you've got Finn Allen. Can he do it on the big stage up the top? And then you sort of...
You got Devon Three-Way.
You got Devon Three-Way, but I guess what I'm saying is like putting the onus on those guys to do something special is a good thing. Like steady the ship. We've sort of ridden the highs and lows with Steady and his tennis elbow injury and all that sort of stuff. And we've loved him through the whole thing. And he totally redeemed himself against England with that ton. But now it's actually kind of good. It's like, well, not kind of good. It sucks.
Well, people have to step up.
People have to step up. And you've got to say, okay, there's no Steady. Who's actually going to, because everybody would just turn to him as if to go, you're going to save us, right? And now they can't do that. So it's good. It's bloody good for the team.
It was entering sort of 2018 Roger Tuivasa-Sheck territory where everyone's just like, look, we're going to play as best we can, but really, if we're going to win, this guy sort of needs to do it for us.
Yeah, so it's a step-up moment. It's a movie. It's who's going to be the person who's going to come along and be our hero. Devon Three-Way hasn't played a World Cup for us, a 50-over World Cup for us yet. So, there's neither is Finn or Glenn Phillips. So it feels like so much has happened in 4 years, right?
Yeah.
Remember we were in here crying and
hugging.
Well, you were at Lord's.
Oh, no, I thought you were talking about the World Test Championship. How long ago was that? 2 years ago?
No, it was 4.
The World Test Championship.
I'm talking about the Lords, for fuck's sake. Yeah, 2019.
What was the one just 6 weeks ago? T20.
You can't keep up because they had back-to-back T20 World Cups.
I'm talking about 50 over cricket here, Jay.
Okay,
You're the cricket expert.
Speaking of which, the last game of the summer, it's going to be played this Saturday in Queenstown. They're finishing the season off in Queenstown in autumn.
Yeah.
A T20 down there. So after absolutely demolishing them in Dunedin, and Seidvart looked like he was toying with the Sri Lankan team. He looked like he was playing the ACC 11.
Yeah, he was embarrassing them. Like, I got to be honest, he hit like 3 switch hit sixes in a row towards the end of that innings. It was almost like if you were playing Twilight cricket and one of your batters was doing that, you'd probably go and have a word with him. Hey, mate, we're going to win here. There's no need for all of this. But having said that, selfishly, it was glorious to watch, wasn't it? And didn't Dunedin look resplendent on it?
20 degrees.
Oh, beautiful. Great crowd. They were trying to get Mexican waves going. Can we say Mexican waves anymore, or are they just waves?
You can say Mexican waves. Because that started at the 1986 World Cup.
Oh, that's right.
Soccer World Cup, and they did waves around the sort of the national stadium. So carry on.
Yeah. So the waves were great. Anybody that was caught trying to start a wave, there were rumours that they were being escorted from the ground. Which can you just let like Scarfies come in and make a bit of atmosphere? How often this summer have we seen empty stands and finally we've got a crowd that's into it, they're cheering, and then all of a sudden they're getting escorted away from the ground. But it was a beautiful game. I'm going to be down there in Queenstown.
You are?
Yep. I'm going to the Crown Hotel ahead of Saturday's final T20. DB have launched their Export Ultra. Delicious beer. We spanked a few of them responsibly last weekend. And if you come and say good day to me, I might just shout you a beer.
I'm going to take away the might on that. I think you need to shout them a beer. So, and the Crown Hotel's actually in Frankton, so it's on the way to the ground.
Yep.
From 11 till 1, you'll be there.
Yep.
Shouting people beers on the work credit card.
Yep.
And you'll also have Dulux Steady the Ship caps to give away, I believe, there. So if you're in
Everything you need.
Yeah, if you're in Queenie or you're making a roadie up from Dunedin, head along to the Crown Hotel.
One thing on side fart, I do love. I've got a lot of time for side fart. A few years ago, I was at the point where I thought, when BJ Watling stands down from the test team, obviously Cowboy Blundell comes in, but was there an argument for a bit of side fart there as well?
Yeah.
In the same way you have a Bairstow and Butler in the England team, right? They're two keepers. Are they two keepers?
Yeah, why don't we just throw another keeper in? Because obviously Conway can don the gloves, as can Latham.
Exactly. Team of keepers, Latham's in there. So look, the other hand-eye coordination guys, get them in there. But the thing is, Sidefart was showing that sort of promise, but now he's definitely our white ball kind of like smacking around dude.
Yeah, absolutely. So the final game, here's the how it all ended in Dunners.
And he's spanked again. This'll be the game. Why not end it on a 6?
Good
Tim
kiss.
Seifert, take a bow.
Sandstorm.
Fist pump your team.
So quickly.
New Zealand just won by 9 wickets at University Oval down in Dunedin, squaring the series up. And we're going to have a decider on our hands Saturday in Queenstown.
So here we go. And final game for Spark Sport as well. Not only the final game of the summer, but we kiss goodbye Spark Sport. Which, look, I'm going to say I'm a little bit sad that they're leaving the market because love them or hate them. They have brought a kind of a bit of competition into the market for us, and it's going to be sad to see them go.
Price-wise. Price-wise,
yeah, they had a few issues at the start with their streaming because they also remember they had the World Cup.
Yeah,
and
I didn't have any issues.
Everyone has saying they had issues and was dropping out and everything, but I think it's actually a pretty stable product now. But it's going to TVNZ, which means TVNZ have got the Ashes. So they're going to have the Ashes on TVNZ, and they're going to have it, I think they've got it for the next 2 summers, I believe. So
TVNZ have got the Ashes?
Yeah, because they've got all the cricket content from Spark. So and Spark have the deal with England cricket.
They've got the England cricket deal because a lot of the like the Black Caps overseas is on Sky.
Yes, and all internationals, ICC internationals are on Sky.
Right.
But an anomaly is that they've got a deal with England cricket.
ECB.
Yeah, the ECB. So look out for that. You a big golfer, James? Play a bit of golf?
I've played a bit of golf, not as much as probably Manaia's been playing lately. I've seen photos of Manaia out there almost recreating one of those TAB ads with diving into a frickin' pond. Yeah. Only because most of his balls are in there, but am I right? But where do you play your golf, Manaia?
I play at the Chamberlain. It's a public course here. I think it's the most played course in the country. It is a real hackabout course.
There's no booking, you just line up.
Oh, hell no. No booking at all. You just squat up there with like a whole bunch of former Warriors sort of play. Francis Melly, you'll see walking around there every now and then. So I'll get out there and have a bit of a hackabout. And I think that that documentary, whose name is escaping me at the moment, the golf one, Full Swing, is sort of doing for golf a little bit what Drive to Survive did, not on the same scale, but I've followed golf as part of my job, and I know like who's doing well, who's not, but I didn't know anything about them, and now you do, you can sort of follow it a little bit, but even for the casual fan, Tiger's playing this week. I mean, it's looking like it's going to get rained off on Saturday, and Tiger was saying that he doesn't think he can win this year, which I think is kind of sad. But do you think that might be mind games from El Tigre?
Yeah, I mean, he struggles with the walk around, isn't it? That's the issue. But I still feel like Tiger at Augusta, just a different beast. Yeah. I saw the post on the ACC where they showed him his practice round. He's getting more fans than when he was a 4-time Masters champion. Yeah. And it's the obsession with him is crazy. Like a lot of other golfers do say, it's thanks to Tiger that we get paid this sort of money. So they're all appreciative that he just transformed the game into this sort of global sensation, and all the eyes are on them. So you know full well that even though he may sort of beat them, they'd much rather be there playing with Tiger in the field because they know they're getting watched by everyone.
Yeah, it's only good for them. But on the thing, like this is exactly what he said. He said, I can't walk around 72 holes of golf anymore because my legs just buggered. Why not let them use carts? If your argument is that it's part of the game that fatigue wears on you as you progress through the rounds, then don't let them have a caddy.
Well,
make them carry their bags too.
The one problem is Tiger driving. Like Tiger's got a bad history with anything and with vehicles, and if you put him in a cart, after the first hole there'll be 6 or 7 injuries, and after 72 holes, who knows the carnage? You'll cross the reporter who's normally this mild-mannered guy who goes, and Tiger's won it again. Instead, he'll be like, "Oh, the humanity! It started with 6 or 7. Now they're all dead. They're all dead." Like that kind of thing, and you can't have that at the Masters. That's my own personal view.
Okay.
Tiger in a cart. No.
I'll give you that one.
And you got obviously this tournament, the Masters, the live players, the Saudi Arabian Live League are allowed to play. Wouldn't it be great if they just filmed like some Anchorman scene, like just for their own socials, just to show that they actually are probably still all mates, or maybe just play a game of kind of straight, run it straight.
Yeah, well, I think
game of run it straight.
Who's this? Who's over there?
The live players. So so you've got all the live players over there.
Sorted out
Smith.
in the car park type thing.
Yeah, we'll do it run it straight and get like Rory McIlroy running it straight at Cameron Smith.
Yeah,
and
they
just
demolish him. Rory's jacked.
Could they do that? There's that nice little bridge. You could have a battle of that bridge where they actually do run and they sort of battle for territory. And there's plenty of water there to get tackled into as well. That should be pretty cool.
Perhaps a jousting competition on golf carts with a driver.
What if they're allowed to pick? If you're allowed to pick one club out of your bag to go into a battle with, what would it be? What?
Oh, I've got one of those novelty mallet putters, so I'd probably take that thing in there. It's got a really solid.
Yeah, I've seen those.
Putter's not strong. Do you think the putter's strong enough though? It's got a heavy kind of head and it's short.
Yeah,
but
no, mine's like a mallet. It's the full like width and length. So yeah, I think it'll be.
Is that a legitimate golf club? Are you allowed to have that golf club in your bag?
I haven't been asked by the officials at the Chamberlain yet.
Sounds like you've got a croquet stick in your bag.
I feel like my driver's made of something that you see, one of those kitchen mixers with the little end on the kitchen mixer. You're not quite sure what it's made of, but it's some kind of composite, and it's not going to do any damage. I feel like it would fly off. So you need to go in with a really solid iron. I like Manaia's idea. There is a hybrid, like a chipper. They are quite heavy, and they've got a little bit of an edge to them as well. Yeah. So if you really want to maybe decapitate someone, if you really feel that strongly about live golfers,
or vice versa.
Yeah.
So that'd be interesting. They haven't paired them up. The PGA have gone out of their way not to pair the PGA stars with the live stars. That's what the people want.
It's because they're afraid that someone's going to, like Cam Smith might just find a rich vein of form and like show them up. It's such an old school, like old money game.
That's what people want. Surely,
100%.
Just give it to everyone. Would just imagine following it around.
Who are the two guys who had the big feud? Was it Bryson DeChambeau
and Koepka?
Yeah, and Koepka.
Yeah.
What side are they on?
They're both on live, aren't they?
Yes, they are. They both live.
But they still hate each other.
Well, they've said that they've squashed it, but I think that $100 million goes a long way to squashing any beef you might have had.
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah.
But even there was a video of DeChambeau, Koepka doing an interview, and DeChambeau walks past with he's got his little sprigs on, the sort of metal spikes, and even the sound of spikes on the concrete behind him really pissed him off. Like he was at that point where he's like, "What the hell?"
Just on a knife edge.
Yeah, he's just, and he goes, and I think DeChambeau's just living inside his head the whole freaking time. So I don't know. I'd like to see them. To me, it's not so much live versus PGA. Let's see those two kind of hate each other.
Brooks and Bryson.
Yeah.
Super Rugby. Now, there's numerous articles going around, and it's always this time of year that they get recycled. Both NZ Herald and Stuff are leading stories about Super Rugby losing fans. And the question is, are we really checked out from Super Rugby? Are we really checked out, or is this seems like recycled content?
The numbers aren't great, crowd-wise. I think the numbers for the ACC are outstanding on Channel 59. Go there whenever you can. It's just anecdotally. I haven't got any evidence.
Neither have I.
Vibe, though.
It's a vibe. It's a vibe.
The vibe's high.
People stop me in the street. 7-piece, blah, blah, blah. But no, it's the rugby crowds are a big issue. The one that I feel is pretty tough is Moana Pacifica, because you've got now the start comparison of the Warriors playing at home, and then poor old Moana's got to go out there. And there's some awesome players in that Moana Pacifica team, but it just hasn't got the support base yet.
Yeah.
So the love isn't there yet. They need, I guess, what would you say? Remember, there's a few years ago, the Hurricanes crowds were down to 11,000, and that was considered like, ooh. And so I guess, what, is 10,000 a good crowd now for rugby?
Yeah, I think so. There was a decent crowd at the Chiefs-Blues game. That was a really good crowd.
That one did go well. It helps that the Chiefs are going hard and that's a top-of-the-table clash.
Yeah.
People aren't going to these Australian ones. Like when it was all the local derbies at the start of the season, everyone was keen. Eden Park was starting to fill up. But now when you're playing like the Waratahs...
The Western Weakness.
The Western Weakness, and you know it's going to be a blowout. What I think they should do is take it to more regional places. Like when the Highlanders took their game down to Southland, it was packed.
It looked great, didn't it?
It looked tremendous.
Yeah.
So why not do that? Treat the regions a bit more.
I'm all for the regions. Palmy was beautiful the other day too for the Canes versus the Force. The one thing I remember, I worked at Eden Park doing emceeing the sponsors lounge or something. My old mate Anna Lawrence got me in there to rev up the punters, and then you go out and watch the game. And I remember a couple of times thinking, this is actually pretty cool, And then you'd sort of realise, if you sit in the wrong place in a rugby stadium, it's probably the same anywhere, and there's some guy who's on meth, and he's going, Nick Evans, you're fucking shit, mate, you're fucking... And it's like the whole game.
Yeah.
It's like there needs to be some kind of policing system with nutters on drugs.
Yeah, well, I had a couple sitting in front of me that were just necking on for the whole game. And the issue that I had was I was loving it. But my missus was sitting right next to me, and every time she caught me looking at it, I'd get an elbow in the ribs. So, that's
like just full-on pashing.
Yeah.
At the rugby.
Full-on tongues wagging at the rugby.
Maybe that's what got them both going. To get them going, they need to go to live footy and just to really get a wide on for live footy. And that's how they romance sex life works.
I'm all for pashing at the rugby. I think that's fine. I'd take that over the meth head. But the big issue is, I think it's all around time and price and what people care about now. So quite often you'll hear someone say, "Oh, rugby, I watched that with my dad." It's like it's dad's thing, right? Whereas you need the kids to say, "Hey, Dad, I want to go to the rugby.
Yeah.
This is something that I give a shit about." Because you'll take your kids to the Breakers, right?
Yeah, totally.
And they're dragging you along.
Yeah, shit, yeah. They're dragging them and me and their 12 of their mates, punishing. But also afternoon footy as well helps.
Yes.
Afternoon footy, because I can't
Sunday
take my
hour.
kids. I can't take my kids to a 7 o'clock kickoff.
No, it's the witching hour.
Because like they say they can stay up till 9, and they can. But by the time we get home, it's 10:30, and then the next morning I've got 3 satanic motherfuckers on my hand. And it's like, was that worth it? Was it worth going to that Blues Western Weakness game so I have to live with 3 satanic children for the next 24 hours? My answer is no, I'll never do that again. But 3 o'clock,
fine.
fuck yeah.
So your kids, if you keep them up late, they turn into you. They turn into G Lane.
They do.
This is what happens.
That's the missing piece in the G Lane puzzle, is that he doesn't get enough sleep.
Okay.
Rugby league. Manaia Stewart, you must just be on fire. The Warriors, I said I'm not on the bandwagon yet. I'm on the platform.
Yep.
I'm ready to get on, but I've been burnt too many times.
He's on platform 9 3/4. He's got the run up. He's almost at the brick wall. You've just got to believe. That's the final step.
I've got to hit the wall.
To getting onto the Hogwarts Express. They lost Marata Niukore. He's out for a couple of weeks. Tohu Harris is going to play through what seems like 3 broken knees. They've got the Knights, who absolutely suck this year. They're playing on Sunday, Easter Sunday.
Games we have to be careful about, Manaia.
This is exactly, it's a banana skin game, isn't it?
Oh, and also the Knights are stacked, right? Have we got Kalen Ponga playing against us? Have we got old Frizzle?
No, I don't think Ponga is.
So
Tyson?
no Ponga. Okay.
He's still in the cubicles.
Tyson?
No, Ponga.
Oh, Ponga, yeah.
So no Ponga. Okay.
The Dome Rattler. They've got a few exciting players, but the Knights have just been atrocious these last few years. And I think, like you said, these are the banana skin games for us. We shouldn't have beat the Sharks last week. The Rugby League gods are undefeated. They're going to take one back as well. But one of the more interesting things from Rugby League this week that I saw is, so ANZAC round's coming up, and in classic Rugby League fashion, they have to put out a new jersey for fucking everything.
Yep.
So for ANZAC Day this year, the Tigers, who can do nothing right at the moment, they've put a jersey out with what seems to be the 2 soldiers from the front of Modern Warfare 2, the PlayStation game, on the jersey. They are 2 American soldiers on the bottom of the jersey. And people have seen that and gone,
there we go.
If the whole idea of it is that it's to respect the troops, like, isn't this the antithesis of that?
So they've taken it from a video game DVD cover.
That's exactly what they've done. And put it on the Tigers thing. That team is an absolute shit show. They're talking about expanding the teams, as adding an 18th team in so it's not an odd number. I reckon just bin the Tigers.
Good advertising for I know, I feel so bad for the Tigers. They're kind of my second favourite team because of Benji and Gary Freeman and all those players back in the day. But hey, Bryden's lawyers are getting a good run out of this. The sponsors.
Absolutely. But also,
I always wonder, go, shit, man, you must be a pretty big law firm to get your bloody name on the front. But, Bryden's lawyers, whoever are in Sydney, they're probably going, oh, yeah, we'll take a bit of that.
or is this the cleverest marketing campaign ever? They may be sponsored by PlayStation or maybe a gaming company, and this is the new World of Warcraft game coming
and
out.
You can buy
and this is the front cover.
You can buy a new skin in game.
Yeah,
when
there
you
you
want to
go.
play in a Tigers jersey.
maybe it's cleverer than we think. Maybe let's not jump to conclusions that they're Muppets.
Even though there are too many jerseys, I kind of love it. It's almost part of the folklore. Like the Swan Dry, the Wellington Swan Dry jersey is the stuff of legend.
Historic.
It's the yellow and black. Have you got one of those, Manaia?
No, I don't. No.
Oh, okay.
Hard to find
amazing.
nowadays.
Have you got a favourite?
I haven't got a favourite. My favourite, I've got the original one from the first year, signed by all the team that I won at an auction when I was really drunk.
1995.
Yeah. It's
Holy
all-
fuck!
yeah.
That's
Yeah.
probably worth probably $5,000.
Yeah, I
isn't it?
smashed it out of its cover and I used to out of its glass case and we used to wear it to the game. So
Oh
it might
my
have lost
God.
a bit of value.
Yes, you did.
But it was like a real baggy DB bitter. I got the original. But saying that, the other day, all you guys turned up to an event. It was you, Manaia, Chris Key,
Yep.
Ben Hurley, and Di Henwood.
Ben
and you all
Boyce
had-
as well.
Yeah, Ben Boyce. All had Warriors jerseys. Not one of them was the same. They got All Black jerseys.
Yeah.
They're all the same.
Yeah.
It was just they're wildly different, all of them.
Yeah.
And it's like, through no rhyme or reason, you've all gone out and bought a Warriors jersey at some stage, but they've just never been the same.
Yeah.
Well, I feel like they've got it right this year. Manaia, you'll know because you probably got one of this year's ones, but they've gone with the blue and green again.
and
So
red,
it's
yeah.
back in there.
Yeah.
And that, to me, like your
Yes.
original one, that's what the Warriors are.
Yeah.
That's the only, my two favourite ones apart from the OG one is they did an Auckland special, which is just a blue with the white V.
Oh, cool.
And if anyone's watched Auckland, the rep team back in the day, Kevin Edel and that was a cool jersey, and
Yeah.
that was kind of nice and a simple. And then they did an ANZAC Day one that was a stained glass window, and I thought it was pretty cool. It was like
Wearing
Is
a
that quite
stained
recently?
yeah, probably maybe 3 or 4 years ago.
Right.
Yeah, and it was pretty much. I think there was a poppy in there, soldier. Yeah, and it was all done in stained glass. And I went, oh yeah, it's quite
That 02
gave you the feels.
Yeah, that 02 finals one for me, the black one.
Oh, yes.
The black and like bluish purplish
Oh, yeah.
sort of situation going on. That one's great. But I think they've got far too many because you spend $200 on a jersey shot the next week and they're wearing a bloody purple one.
Have you seen the price of Warriors jerseys on Trade Me?
Yeah, outrageous. There's so many Instagram pages now that just go out, source them, and
Yeah.
flog them off for about $600-700 a pop.
So it's almost like if you did go to all the Salvation Army stores or the St Vincent de Paul around South Auckland, you'd be there competing with some Instagram frickin' guy,
Yeah.
vintage jersey seller, and you'd see each other and have to sprint for all the Warriors jerseys and grab them off the rack.
Give him a chicken wing on his way.
Well, the Warriors, I tell you, I'm not on the bandwagon, but my kids are now.
Are they?
Because two Warriors turned up to their primary school yesterday.
Oh.
And I got home yesterday and they ran up to me and said that the Warriors had been to their school. And classic, like my son, the 6-year-old, he goes, look, I got their signatures. And on like a torn up piece of cardboard was a couple of scrawls. I couldn't even make out who it was. Then my son got his shoes signed and my daughter got her hat signed, like her kind of brand new kind
School
of
hat.
pink. No, it's a pink kind
Sun
of
safe-
surf.
a sun safe thing.
And it's like right in the middle is just this huge signature. And I was like, do you know who they were? And they're like, nah. And they're like, they were massive. Like that. Because they came to their school, kicked the ball around with them.
Yeah.
I pretty much reckon they signed every single child's item of clothing at the school. My kids have never watched a Warriors game or even mentioned the Warriors, but
They're in
now
now.
because these guys have turned up to their school, to a North Shore school where
Devonport isn't exactly
No.
Warriors heartland, you know?
I'll tell you what, there is a lot of hardcores there.
No,
real
but
hardcores.
I feel like it would be sponsors or owners' heartland. So
Yeah,
I think
yeah.
that's how the Warriors ended up at your school. There's definitely a sponsor pulling some massive fucking strings.
I'm
there.
not going to say that the One NZ CEO lives down the road. I'm not going to say that. It's just a rumor.
But the building is around the corner.
yeah, absolutely.
There it is. There it is. Yep, it's that Vodafone money.
Hey, the agenda has been named in numerous awards for God knows what reason, but it's been named as a finalist in Best Sports Comedy Podcast in the world in the World Sports Podcast Awards.
Shit.
But it's a public vote, though. It's one of those ones where, people have got to vote.
Oh, we're
so
fucked.
it depends. Yeah, we're pretty fucked. But our listeners are pretty good. But to get the details, agenda vote, one word, to 3236, and you'll get a link. It doesn't cost you anything. And just be a GC and go and do that. And another one, we've been nominated for the best entertainment podcast at the New Zealand Radio Awards. We're up against our old mates, the Between Two Beers, though. We're up against Steve and Seamus.
Oh, they're tough.
Yeah, they're tough. I mean, look, they might have the audience on us.
Oh, they definitely do.
Do they have the entertainment?
I've been confused for Seamus twice in the last 48 hours by random punters out on the street.
It was so...
It's not helpful, is it?
Do you like Super Bash?
Yeah.
Do you like Super Bash? Guy nuzzles up next to Manaia. Yeah, podcast going well, isn't it? Who are you getting on next?
I was like, I don't know. I thought he was talking about the daily agenda. I was like, we had Lane on this morning. He's just like, oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah?
You should talk to JK. He's great. Like, oh, yeah, man. I'll look
On a
into
daily
it.
agenda?
Yeah. And then just at Shapiro's last weekend, we were serving out some beers, and this guy came up to me and he goes, hey, man, really love the Between Two Beers podcast. I was like, me too, man. That's great.
I used to get sumoed every week before he lost all that weight, before he just went on the running and smoking diet.
Matt Heath has just entered the room and started to disrobe.
Look at his red
Shit,
undies.
red undies.
His
We'd
ass
say
is
mint.
swallowing those undies, too.
Look
Look
at that. Baggy
Look
as
at that.
well.
You get an
He's
ass that'll
puckering.
swallow up a G-string.
He's
And
puckering.
up
Oh,
top.
look at that. Yeah, there we
Two
go.
bee
That's what I'm
stings.
looking
Be
for.
thankful this is an audio-only medium.
Shit, he's got good thighs. Matt Heath, I've never seen them before,
Oh,
but he's
wow.
got bloody great thighs. Is that the yoga mat?
Yeah, that's
Yoga mat.
It's yoga with Adrian.
Yoga Matt. Oh,
There's
is that what you did there?
There's your brand.
Yoga Matt. Righto.
People now want to hear from Matt Heath, but
The
we're not
TAB
going to give him... Sorry.
The TAB good punt.
TAB, good punt, good punt, good punt, good punt.
Thanks to the TAB, we've got a $100 bonus bet each and every week to whack on an odd, and we're going to build up a pot, aren't we?
Yes.
And then we're going to give away that pot once it reaches $1,000.
Yeah.
We're going to give it away to one lucky agenda listener. And this week, Manaia, who are you looking at?
So they're running a promotion at the moment, the TAB. It's back. It's called Back Izzy. Israel Adesanya has got the rematch against the bloke that knocked him out last time. He's knocked him out, 2 or 3 times now. Alex Pereira, Hands of Stone, they call him in his native Brazil. Peru. He is fighting on Sunday at 4:10 p.m. and they've got a bonus bet back. If you put a bet on it and he loses, they'll refund you. So you've got nothing to lose. So
you have got nothing to lose.
We're gonna spank a $100 bonus bet on Izzy to win. It's only paying $1.71. He's still the favourite, but it's a sure thing.
Yeah, I've also put $100 on because I also do those power plays, and I've put $100 on Moana Pacifica leading at any stage of the Crusaders game.
Oh, shit. That's
and
quite
paying-
cool. That's a good bet.
Yeah, it's paying $2.25.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
Moana Pacifica to maybe fart over a penalty.
Yeah, in the first 5
in
minutes.
the first 5 minutes, or a droppy, or a score of the first try, or just lead at any stage, paying $2.25.
And if you live in Auckland, go and watch Moana Pacifica because they need a little bit of love. And maybe we should go on a team trip to watch Moana Pacifica.
We should actually. I actually love what they've done to the competition. Same with the Drua. I think they've added, and especially when you see the crowds over in Fiji, you're like, yeah, fuck yeah, this is why they're in this competition.
Totally agree. It's
Yeah.
like it's the one thing where Moana Pacifica in a few years, if they stay the course, they're going to be amazing. They just have it's hard for them to compete against years and years of recruiting and history.
Yeah.
I mean, you look at Damien McKenzie playing 100 games for the Chiefs. He's from Gore, went to school in Christchurch. You know,
Yeah.
that's
That's what they're competing with.
it's what they're competing with. Wayne Smith pretty much went down there and abducted him.
Yeah.
And Anton Leonard Brown. And how do you say no to the professor? You just go, I'm coming with you.
Yeah.
So that's that's the tough thing.
Wide on of the week, James McOnie. Anything during the week that gave in the sporting world, the sporting globe, that gave you a bit of a wide on?
I was just the week just gone.
Yeah.
I don't know. It was always the Warriors. It was Warriors all day.
Yeah.
The weird thing about that game is I had to drop off my daughter halfway through it, so I had to go and take her somewhere. And it was a good time because I would have been kind of annoyed at the deficit.
Yeah,
but
20 nil.
But I still believe because I came back and I thought, okay, I'm going to get the last 20 minutes. Let's go. Came back and saw Josh Curran in his headgear going absolutely nuts. He's a lunatic. And he came off the bench, G Lane.
Yeah.
He's not the biggest forward, but he's high energy. And he was trying to kill everyone out there. And I just went, this is good stuff. There's just attitude, not just from him, but he was leading the charge. Then he scored a frickin' try, and it was all on. And the rest is history. Shawnee J with the kick, although conceding that penalty at the end, that could have been a massive dick drinker for everybody, including Di Henwood. And I saw Manaia Stewart here fucking with your head in your hands.
Yeah.
Wondering what the hell was going on.
Oh, well, a lot of people were commenting on social media on that clip that they thought I either had money on the Sharks or I was secretly a Shark supporter. But I was just an emotional wreck because I had a massive head of steam up. I wasn't meant to be on the commentary. And I got dragged in and it was just sensory overload. We'd come back to win this. You've got Di Henwood. I mean, people get G'd up listening to Di Henwood on the commentary. Try standing in the same room as him.
Yeah, let's listen to the last end of the game from Di Henwood.
Don't put your hands up for Heinze. Yeah, go into witty hands.
That was me he was talking to.
And he's pushed it! He's pushed it! The Warriors win! The Warriors win the game! That is 4 from 4 under ACC commentary. That is 4 out of 5 in the NRL season.
So there you go. He loses his voice once again,
Yep.
Di Henwood. But Sky Sport 9, it's on this weekend. We've got the coverage again, Sunday night. A weird timing, 8:15 p.m. against the Knights.
Yeah, that might be. Manaia, do you think the RSA is open on Sunday night? What can we do?
It could well be, yeah.
They might not. I mean, I'm wondering, are you allowed to sell booze on a Sunday? Or what's it's
Yeah.
definitely not Friday, but Easter Sunday is possibly.
Oh, no, I think it's Black Sunday. They called it in Ireland, Black Sunday.
Sunday and the
yeah,
Friday. So get your
yeah.
beers Savo if you're listening
Yeah.
today.
So that's right.
You calling that game?
Yes, I am calling that
okay.
game. Yep.
Excellent.
So that's a late one. I think because the NRL have brought another game into the Sunday to try and spread them out, capture the audience a little bit more.
Okay.
So join us at 8:15. You got the Monday off. So what else are you doing?
Well, we've got a bit of an attendance required, I guess, because we've got date night. Myself and G Lane are coming in for the Highlanders v Hurricanes, which is actually quite a juicy battle. That
Yeah,
one.
and it's going to be an Easter theme, an Easter chocolate sweets theme.
Oh my god! Yeah.
So
I'll be getting gout and some kind of rash. But hey,
that's the Battle of Canterbury, isn't it? So those two teams, they're battling for the territory that is Canterbury. And
you reckon?
Yeah,
So one's coming from the
Hurricanes,
north.
Highlanders. They're looking for the pincer movement. They're looking to take.
I see what you're doing there. Yeah. It's not. Yeah, I know. It's kind of the Highlanders have had a few wins in a row. Have they had 3 in a row or something?
Yeah, but so have the Hurricanes.
Yeah.
The Hurricanes are there. So do you think they're both coming in with a bit of BDC?
Yeah, they have. They've got BDE and BDC. What's
Yeah.
BDC?
Confidence.
Oh, okay, yeah. And
BBC?
maybe they might have some BBC, but we can't confirm about because I haven't seen the team list yet.
No.
Yeah.
So I haven't seen the showers and stuff. But what you can say is that the Landers had a shocker start.
Yes.
And everything was like quokka shocker.
Yeah.
They were all over the place, and now they've had their wins, and they've got to face a bloody good Hurricanes team. The Hurricanes are legit, I reckon.
Yeah?
Yeah.
You think so?
Yeah, shit, yeah. Billy Proctor, the
doctor.
proctologist.
The
When
doctor.
you're commentating, I can even hear it in your voice, G Lane. You're excited.
Yeah, the Dr. Proctor, he's a good,
Yeah.
he's powerful, man.
gets into
Breaks a
everything.
tackle. Let's get into
Toppa Plays of the Week. Brought to you by Leader NZ's Lasagna Toppa.
rightio. Let's kick it off. Number 3. Now this is a great video, and this is Matt Heath. So, man of the people, Matt Heath, born in the South, cheese roll in his mouth, talks constantly about the East Stand burn and being at the East Stand of Eden Park and being with his people.
Yep.
He was spotted in the background of a historic video that Spark Sport put up, the first Te Reo Māori commentary. Scotty Morrison was in there. It was a big moment, but they were right next to what looks like to be the Eden Park corporate suite. And Matt Heath looking dangerously lost. He comes into the shot like he's about to come into the commentary box.
Yeah.
Looks around, kind of confused. He's got this disgusting moustache.
And for me, it's the old man hold of the door. It's almost to hold himself up. He,
Yeah.
he sort of pokes around the corner, holds the door, has a look, can't see anyone he knows, walks back inside again.
Completely spoils the moment for the this commentary team on Spark Sport was with Scotty Morrison and the team.
Shit, that's good.
It's one of the funniest things because I didn't notice it at first because people keep sending it to me and I'm like, yeah, today it's great. They've got a commentary thing and blah, blah, blah. And then no one goes, no, look carefully. And then sure enough, in the background wanders Matt and the holding, you're right, he goes,
But the thing is, people wanting into the shot when they're not supposed to be there is one of the best things about TV. And I heard that Pixie Campbell, the
yes.
boss of Hauraki, loomed up into view for a live cross for, was it 7 Sharp? Or?
No, it was One News, and they were at the Empire Tavern, and he was in the background, but he walked past with what can only be described as a bucket of Chardonnay, and but he walked in the background, and he suddenly discovered he was on, and he went, and like a possum, he went,
He froze.
and he kind of went, and then didn't know how to, like, whether to just act cash or. And then he's like, and then he looked down and went, "Oh shit, I got to get out of the shot." And then he carries on walking.
So
that's one of the greats.
that's good. We need to almost assemble the best, like caught in the headlights in the back of shot sort of thing. But, that's great. What did Heath? How long was he on camera for?
It was about, I reckon, 3 or 4 seconds. It wasn't just a glimpse. He
he
wanders in.
Yeah.
Fully wanders. I thought he was actually going to wander into their box at one stage, but there's obviously a piece of glass between them and where he is. But yeah, once again, just lording it up at the T20 in the corporate suite. So we'll have a look on our socials for that. It's very funny. Okay, number 2, Bernie Sanders taken in the Hurricanes game in New Plymouth. I don't know if you saw this bloke.
I was commentating that bloke, and we were looking at me and Matt Ward were going, "Holy shit, there's Bernie Sanders!" And he had all he was missing was the mittens from that famous shot. It was unbelievable. And anyway, it was just a great moment. But even being right up the back at the top, and I'm sure someone like the director or the camera operator must have said, "Shit, that's Bernie Sanders."
Yeah,
so well done, Sky.
Yeah, and the number 1 Toppa player of the week, and it's Karma. It goes to Karma because Karma got back Jason Hoyt on Monday when he clean bowled by Art Green. I mean, he keeps saying that the ball was swinging around corners. He missed a straight one. He took out his off stump. Art Green bowled him after he was involved in another disgraceful run out of Di Henwood at Eden Park. It wasn't pretty. It wasn't pretty once again. Di Henwood, he came up to me before he went out to bat. I put him at 3, and he goes, "Look," he goes, "mate, this is one of the greatest days of my lives. I never thought I'd play on Eden Park. I can't wait." Goes out, gets run out by Jason Hoyt 3 balls later. And comes back, he was upbeat, but you could see he was gutted. And Jason Hoyt obviously affected him as well because the whole crowd were baying for blood.
Yeah.
And then he immediately, next ball, gets clean bowled by Art Green.
In Jason's defence, he has defended himself and said that was a brilliant piece of fielding, and it actually was. The bloke threw it from about 20 metres out. He had one side on. He was looking at one stump. But it just couldn't happen to a nicer bloke. And Jason Hoyt running Di Henwood out again.
Involved in a mix-up.
Well, Hoyt got run out by Dylan Cleaver, and there was definitely a run there, okay?
Yes,
I can get on Hoyt's side for that, but to go out there and sort of do what would you call spite run-outs ever since, it's just bad from Jason. He doesn't need to do that.
He didn't leave his crease. When you watch the footage back, he's still in his crease. Di's halfway down the pitch and he's saying no.
And I think his words were, "Now you know what it feels like." That,
so he was saying he was so he didn't even see Di Henwood down there. He just saw Dylan Cleaver, didn't he?
It's a spite run out.
He just saw Dylan Cleaver.
Jason's got to get over that, and I don't know how we help him through it at the ACC, but
I think we just drop him.
Yeah, probably a good
I think we just drop him from the team. Anyway,
But before we go, I just wanted to say, I know that you're trying to shoehorn Kini Naholo into the Waisaki Naholo chant, but the other day on the Champagne Rugby podcast, I came up with an alternative that might fly this weekend.
Okay.
It's to the Eleanor Rigby song from the Beatles, which is Kini Naholo plays on the wing for the Canes and he runs really fast. He'll kick your ass.
Brilliant.
that's good. Yeah. That is really good.
So that's an option.
Yeah. Cool. So thanks for joining us. Don't forget, tune in all throughout the weekend. Super Rugby on Sky Sport 9, iHeartRadio, the Rugby League, the Warriors on Sky Sport 9. And don't forget the last ever game of cricket on Spark Sport, and we'll bring it to you 1 p.m. on Saturday, the last T20, the decider.
And text agenda vote to 3236 if you do want us to
get your phone out.
Yeah, get your phone out. Let's vote for the podcast in this global. Is it Prestige Worldwide?
Yeah, I think Joe Rogan's running this.
Nice.
Worldwide.
You've been listening to the ACC's Agenda podcast. For more episodes, subscribe on iHeartRadio or wherever you get your podcasts.